Alrighty, so this is the first time I'm recording recruiting. I do not know if it's going to record correctly, but it's me, Pinstripe, Llama, and Big Hawk judging these battles today. So really the whole basis of the system is we're going to read the player card together first. I'll clarify any type of clarifications you might have on what a factor means. Really, there are no, they're super vague on purpose so that it gives the individual creativity. But really, your the goal is to put yourself in that prospect's shoes. We can look stuff up to clarify, to fact check, but you're not supposed to take into account things about the school outside of the factors and outside of the pitch, if that makes sense. So really just try to have no bias and just go from there. So we're gonna start with Avery De La O. He
Wait, really
is,
quickly,
yes.
who pitched to who?
I
I didn't
pitched to the
pitch.
offensive lineman.
I also
Okay.
did.
Okay.
I didn't.
Yeah, so me and Llama will decide the last one, but um,
Oh God.
it looks like everybody else is fair game. So Avery De La O, he's in North Dakota, free safety. He's a 1-star. He only wants 64K. Number 1 is stream exposure. Number 2 is media exposure. So there's a ton that you guys can go into on that.
So like
And
media exposure is like how much he'll be posted and stuff like Spark.
yeah, you can take that route. They could also there's just a bunch of routes you could take, but media basically means just getting your name out there in some sort of a way, whether it's in the Discord, on the stream, making graphics, bottom line ads, halftime ads. That's all considered the overarching media. Whereas stream exposure is specifically, obviously, getting on stream. And then finally, close to home, that's a really easy one to kind of figure out, right? So
You said North Dakota, right?
yeah, he's in North Dakota. So
Okay, so
first one is, Dear Avery, I hope this letter finds you well. I want to take the time to reach out to you personally and share with you why I believe committing to Kentucky football is the best decision for your future. Okay, so this is Coach Green of Kentucky. First and foremost, let me start by talking about the media exposure that you will receive as a player at Kentucky. As you're aware, we have been on the BearCave 3 times this year, and this exposure is only a small taste of what you can expect as a player. Our program has a strong relationship with local and national media outlets, and you'll have the opportunity to showcase your talents and skills on a larger platform. The exposure that you will receive will not only help you as a player, but will also, as you look to advance your football or your career after football. In addition to media exposure, I wanted to highlight the importance of stream exposure. With the growing popularity of streaming platforms like Twitch, many professional athletes are now able to connect with fans and showcase their talent in a more personal and interactive way. As a player at Kentucky, you will have the opportunity to build your own brand and connect with fans in a way that was not possible just a few years ago. Another factor that I want to highlight is the incredible support that you will receive as a player at Kentucky. Our program has a passionate and dedicated fan base that is second to none. Our fans are incredibly supportive, and will be there for you for every step of the way, both on and off the field. They'll cheer you on, celebrate your successes, and be there to pick you up when you need it. This level of support is invaluable and will help you reach your full potential as a player. Lastly, I wanted to mention the financial benefits of committing to Kentucky football. We are offering you a scholarship package with $75,000 in NIL deal. So that's 11K over expected. This money can be used to further your education, help support your family, or be invested in your future. This is an incredible opportunity and one that I believe you should strongly consider. In conclusion, I believe that committing to Kentucky football is the best decision for your future. With the media exposure, stream exposure, support of our passionate fan base, and the financial benefit, I believe that you will have everything you need to reach your full potential as a player. I hope that you take this time to consider my offer and join Kentucky football. Thank you for your time. I look forward to the opportunity to work with you in the future. So I do want to point out the one thing is he said 75K for his NIL, but he didn't actually say what the NIL was for. He just said that what it could be used for. So that's
yeah,
something
this
that
is
we need to.
pretty bad, I'd say.
You think it's pretty bad. I think it's actually really good in terms of like this is the best Coach Green pitch I've seen.
Yeah, it's good
I
for
think
Coach Green. Don't get me wrong, but
I
is it good compared to everybody else?
right,
I think
and
it's a great
that's
pitch.
what we have to see.
I think it's a great pitch. I mean, I don't know how important saying where the NIL money is coming from. You're getting. Is that what you're saying, TC? Is he didn't say where the NIL was coming from?
Right, yeah, that's something that I
He
say
also
in the
like
recruiting guide is of importance, or if somebody takes the time to make a creative NIL deal, that they will be favored.
Got you. Okay.
I just feel like he didn't really touch on any of the factors all that much that matter.
Well,
You know what I mean?
yeah, he didn't necessarily he touched on all the factors. Um, he said specifically, we've been on BearCave 3 times this year. And then as far as media, I like how he took like, okay, if you come to Kentucky, you'll be able to start your own Twitch stream. That's an interesting take on media. He didn't make any promises. He didn't say anything about um, like promising to be in ads or getting him more on stream. He just wanted to highlight the importance of it. In stream exposure, instead of getting on the SFA stream, he's saying that he can make his own stream presence, right? Which is a good take, or a good workaround. But so now, obviously, it's number one. It's the first pitch we read. So we'll move on to the next one. Then you look forward to okay, yeah, that's the end. All right. Next up is Howdy Son, Coach Big Tex calling from Coastal Carolina. I've seen your film. Hell, I've been to one of your games, and I think you have what it takes to be a major D1 athlete. That's why I'm offering you a full ride scholarship and an NIL deal worth a $110,000. There are a few reasons why you should consider coming to Coastal Carolina. So he
Here.
is offering 54 over or over expected.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah. So stream exposure, we will be on stream this week, which he just was. Maybe don't watch the game, but we'll be on there for sure. And after all the exposure is what matters, especially to people like you. We have been on stream twice this season, and I have no doubt that we will be on stream a lot more next season. Media exposure. Who needs it anyways? At Coastal Carolina, we have our own media team dedicated to promoting the team and all of our players. While when you come here, I can guarantee that you will be in the media at Coastal. Plus, with your NIL deal worth well over your expected value, it should be easy for you to forget the need for media exposure anyways. Because who needs exposure when you can have cold hard cash? Ask yourself, son, would you rather be rich and a normal college football player, or dirt poor and you think everyone knows you? Number 3, we are relatively close to home. Let me put it into perspective for you, son. Is London close to home? Is Beijing close to home? How about Baghdad? No, obviously. Now, son, are you seriously trying to say that a simple 3 to 4 hour flight is far from home? Of course it isn't. Hell, compared to some other people, that's about as close as home as you can get. Before you sit here and scratch us out for being too far from home, I suggest you think about the American troops that are much farther away.
Oh my god.
Hopefully that helps you gain perspective. I can't wait to see you on campus, son. We will have your suit and uniform ready. P.S. The paint and security hermanos are offering you your house of free paint job. Yet another benefit of coming to Coastal. So that's a lore piece. I do want to point out he said 110K. That is 25 above what Kentucky said. But he also didn't make a creative one. So they're kind of tied in the NIL deal aspect, but 25K is 25K, right? So Coastal takes the cake there. Now
I
it's
definitely think Coach Green had the better pitch. 25, 25K is 25K, but I feel like Coach Green also hit on more of the player wants.
True. What do we factor more here? Are we factoring money more or the fit? Because that's what happened last week.
well, it's
I think you kind of got to
completely-
consider both.
yeah, it's always just a blend of the both. Now you got to remember though, like 25K to a 5-star when you're talking about 400, 425 doesn't necessarily make as big of a difference when it's 25K considering a guy who's only expecting to get 60K, right? So he's
Oh,
because that's a bit more of a difference. 6 figures versus 5 figures.
Would you say like in whenever we're going through the recruiting, is it like 75% wants and 25% NIL? Would you say that's a fair percentage of like what we should be
I
paying
feel like
respect
it
to?
depends on the prospect.
It
Yeah,
completely
definitely.
depends on the situation, but typically, uh, the NIL deal with that detailed NIL, creative factor, it's basically like a 3-2 sort of where factors are 3 and the NIL deal is 2 almost.
Okay.
So it's like a 1.33. Like factors in general are more important.
3/5 compromise. Got it.
I think going through each of the factors is probably important here because it is close. On stream exposure, Kentucky, I would give it to because he says he was on BearCave this season 3 times and versus Coastal's 2. He also added in the stream exposure, um, making your own Twitch account. Whether or not um, you think that adds any value to the pitch. It is something that he did express specifically for this factor, and it's something that I don't see anything additional from. He thinks will be on BearCave or that will be on stream a lot more the next season. I think he probably could have done a little bit more there, but I'd still kind of give a brief nod, in my opinion, for Kentucky on factor number 1. Um, do I
Yeah,
think
before
probably the
comparing them, should we go through like all of the responses, or is that the only
oh
two?
yeah. I think it's the only 2 because these ones aren't legitimate. Okay, there's one at the bottom here that we need to consider. Hello, Avery. Coach Rick from Arizona State. I'm offering you 75, 400. So this is 400 more than Kentucky, um, which is still over expected, in NIL deals to come join the Sun Devils football team. We are a program that plays in meaningful, nationally televised games every year, including this weekend where we are part of game day. We aren't exactly next door to Fargo, so in addition to the 75,400 we're offering, we also secured 5,000 in NIL deals that partner with our airport that can be used to get your family and bring your family home. Hope to hear from you. So basically, what I'm hearing in this,
Eight
tell me,
80,000.
yeah, that's what I'm picking up on is that his actual offered amount is 80 grand, and so while he's
He
saying
didn't
just
touch on it.
right, he didn't necessarily touch on anything as far as like an actual creative thing, but he is saying something that you use the NILs for, right? So I think that is a slight bump. He does have the money, so I would say 80K is his offer. He doesn't go into media at all. He he's just as far away, I think, as like a Coastal Carolina. So I think they kind of tie there. I don't think completely missing out on a factor and offering a lot less keeps Arizona State in this battle
No, I
for
don't.
top 2.
I feel like if you don't put in your if you don't touch on the player once, then that you can kind of disregard that pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can agree there. All right, so do we all agree Arizona State would be 3rd here?
Yes.
I will say though that is the first time I've ever seen like that kind of a split NIL um, little deal. That was interesting. Okay, so
So
back to
I feel
Coastal
like
in Kentucky.
I feel like Kentucky touches better on the ones. In Coastal, I feel they definitely missed out on. I mean, I feel like both schools kind of missed out on the media.
Yeah.
I would say like if Coastal had just said they had their own media team and kind of pushed that would have been okay. But then they're saying media doesn't matter. I feel like that kind of seems like it's
Yeah, I
eh.
it's I
I
think
would give the. That's my
I
vote.
think it comes down to whether we like the vibe that Coastal's putting down. Like he's given like kind of the Peyton Security Hermanos vibe where he's like, oh, you want this? Screw that. This is more important. Wouldn't you rather be rich than normal college football player, dirt poor, and everyone thinks that they know you? And then he completely like trashes troops and stuff, and
Yeah, I think he's kind
that.
of just like, hey,
Well,
fuck you,
he's
but hey, come here too.
well, yeah, but I think that's his vibe.
Sorry.
Like he knows he doesn't necessarily fit these factors, and this is his kind of workaround, right? And so I think we gotta decide as a group whether we like the route he took or thought that trashing it wasn't necessarily the best way. Because Kentucky does win the close to home. You know, there's no way to say Coastal is closer than Kentucky to North Dakota.
Right.
And flights from Kentucky to North Dakota are a lot cheaper than flights from North Dakota to.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I will say this whole thing here is about how he highlights the incredible support of the fan base, and like the whole vibe he just gives. Well, there's I think a lot that he could have done more. I think you do reward the fact that he went into something additional, you know, as far as fan bases and like you know if you're a recruit, you want to be liked by your fans, whereas this coastal kind of seems like not the best culture to go into, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I think
I'm right now. I'm leaning Kentucky pretty hard.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
Kentucky hat too.
Okay.
Are we ready
So
to vote?
yeah, I think I'm Kentucky as well. So I think it's a unanimous Kentucky.
All right.
Okay. So I have for the free safety, we got Kentucky. We have Coastal, and then we have ASU. All right, so that's 75K down on his budget. So if he pitches again, what I gotta figure out what this number is. 1160 minus 75.
If he pitches again, he won't have enough money.
No, he'll
AC.
have 41. So he has enough for a minimum pitch.
I thought minimum was 80.
No.
No, so the minimum somebody can go for is 40K. So if we scroll down here, AJ Samuels number 2, you see he offers 40K in a football scholarship. So that's probably not going to win, but you know, if nobody else offers, then he would win this one. All right, so the next guy is AJ Samuel. This was, you were right, it is Debo Samuel before I went to all fake names. Guy in South Carolina, 130K that he wants, so he's a 2-star. Oddly enough, another stream exposure guy, stadium atmosphere, um, and then 3 is coach stability. Any you guys have a question on any of those factors and what they mean?
Wait, I'm sorry. Can you just say them one more time?
Yeah, so stream exposure, that one we just had, and the other one, stadium atmosphere and coach stability.
Okay.
So I do want to clarify, because stadium atmosphere was a problem last week, is that uh, the goal of your pitch for atmosphere, regardless of the actual atmosphere of your school in real life, um, your ability to paint that picture of the pitch and have them like kind of hyped to go to and play in front of your crowd is kind of what we're looking for, more so than just naming stuff. At least that's my personal take on it. All right, so Coach Green, 40K. All right, we'll move on. All right, hey AJ, Georgia Southern is interested in bringing you in. We think you'd be the perfect offensive weapon for this offense moving forward. Our stream exposure has been great this year. We've had multiple appearances in BearCave, and as we continue to succeed in the Sun Belt, we anticipate even more appearances. If you come here, you'd be able to help us keep getting appearances like that on BearCave. Paulson Stadium is one of the best stadium atmospheres in college football, period. The fan base is fully dedicated to the team, no matter how the team is doing that year. We have an incredibly loyal fan base, and and the players are royalty on campus. With our recent success, we have been having some amazing turnouts to games this year, and the stadium has been rocking all season long. I am an alum at this school, so I have a love for the school that no one else can match. I fully believe in this program and want to see us keep putting trophies in the case. I have no desire to leave the school and plan to be here where we'll build towards national success beyond just the Sun Belt. So, this is one of the things that I always clarify, mainly when we hit things like coach stability, okay? So, he's completely saying here that he is committed here. He's not promising it, but he's saying, I have no desire to leave this school.
I think
This
adding
is,
that he's an alum is a big point. Like that
yeah,
kind of, hey, this is home. It's a bit more of a convincing factor.
yeah, absolutely. But you do have to take into account that Coach Coco, when he was in the server, he did bail on Georgia Southern to go to Georgia Tech. Um, and then
He's also been
he ended
talking a
up
bit about
right,
leaving a little bit.
and then he left the server, whatever. I don't count that as far as it, but he did bail on this school at the beginning of the season and go to Georgia Tech. Um, and he has been talking I believe it's a media discussion or whatnot, consistently about how he eventually does want to go to LSU. So that is something that you probably have to take into account here, if you're splitting hairs between multiple coaches in this specific factor. But that's just something that needs to be clarified because it's part of the factor. But he will offer you 130K in NIL deals, and that's exactly what he put. That's the expected amount, and I just want to make sure Georgia Southern has that amount. So he does. He has that amount, so that's fine. All right. So this obviously beats Coach Green's 40K. So it's one JSOW to uh, Kentucky.
I'm not counting any pitches that are 1 sentence long.
Right,
Well, if there's
unless you need to.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, shakes hand. Hi, AJ. It's great to see you in person at your school. Let me tell you, I have loved every single piece of game film I have seen from you this season. Which is why I'm prepared to offer you a full ride scholarship and an NIL deal worth $200,000 to come play football at Coastal. So 70K more. Coastal. There are a few reasons why you should accept this offer. I'm making face-to-face with you today. Aside from factors, I can guarantee you that you will not be redshirted your freshman year. So he's giving a promise here, no redshirt. Stream exposure. We will be on stream this week for our second time this season, and next season we'll be on stream much, much more. Additionally, you shouldn't even be focused on stream exposure when considering your future school. Instead, you should be focusing on being close to home, since I can guarantee that once you move out, you'll miss that feeling of having your family cheering for you while you play. And it won't
Okay,
be the same.
can
Yeah.
can he
What's your
just
question?
say like, oh, you can't be focusing on that? Here's what you like. Like I feel like you can't do that, right?
He can. I mean, he's doing it, but I don't think you necessarily take it into account when
Okay, yeah.
you will like
No, I mean, yeah,
like
obviously you can do it. I meant, but like, it's not gonna like do anything.
so he's trying. What he's trying to do is um, mitigate the number one stream exposure and then add additional pitch information about being close to home. I think this kind of works. I mean, isn't Coastal's in South Carolina, right? On the coast.
No, I think it's north.
Where's AJ Samuel from?
South
South
Carolina.
Carolina.
Debo. I'll
Guys,
look up
I mean,
Coastal. Give me 1
either
second.
way, being in North Carolina, you're only a few hour drive away from.
I
You're
lied. It's in South Carolina.
It is in South Carolina. Okay, so close to home. This is he's trying to make them care about being close to home. Um, cheering you on while you play, and it won't be the same if they are doing is watching you through a screen. Fortunately, if you choose to accept my offer, your family will just be up the road, and with their free ticket passes given to them by us, they'll be right back to seeing you in person, which, trust me, is a lot more than being on any screen. We have a good stadium atmosphere. Our stadium is always packed on Saturdays, and we have one of the nicest group of five stadiums in the conference. Next year, even more people will be packing the stands to see you and other fresh faces competing at a high level. Plus, how much does stadium atmosphere matter when regarding of anything else you have 200K in your pocket? So once again, he's He's doing a kind of a thing where he's like, I do fit your factor, but why don't you also factor in this, right?
So
Coach
is it
stability.
your interests this week? I mean, Jesus Christ.
Coach stability. I won't be going anywhere anytime soon. I can assure you that. All these big hot shot coaches are going to be leaving you in the dust. Georgia Southern, hell, he's gone after this season. Once these guys have a couple of years of success, they get big egos and they leave the very people that gave them the success. Here at Coastal, we don't treat players like commodities or emotionless droids. No, my friend, at Coastal, every player is a part of the family, and my coach stability reflects that. It's just great to meet you in person, AJ. I look forward to seeing you commit and handing you your first jersey and suit.
That's a piece of lore right there.
Yeah.
I well,
So
I
I love this pitch. I love this pitch.
I really, because I prefer Georgia Southern over this.
so here's my thought on it is while I don't like the fact that he's completely just disregarding factors, or he's like kind of telling all these guys like, oh, I'm good at this, like yeah, we have a great same atmosphere, whatever, but also, hey, you have 200K money in your pocket. He's keeping the same personality throughout all this pitch. And then I think the fact that he actually just went in on Georgia Southern, and conveniently he's competing against Georgia Southern, right? It's like one of those
Yeah,
things
but
where it's
so
it's
if
it's you take a shot in the dark, and it's working out, in my opinion, for him right now.
Yeah, I mean
yeah,
this is all very this is a very realistic pitch, I'd say, compared to the last Coastal pitch we saw,
Yeah.
because you know when you don't match something a player wants, what you want to do is you want to sell them something that you can offer.
Yeah.
Which he does with the number one. Is he going to get full? Do I think he gets full points for that for the number one? No, not at all. But I think it does count for something that
and
you
so
did try to sell them what you could offer.
in my opinion, right now, I think Georgia Southern destroys on the first two factors and then like loses out slightly just because of the call out by Big Tex. So I mean, I would lean Georgia Southern over that just because he hits the factors so much better, and not only does he hit them, but like I don't like the whole disregard the factors. Here's what you should care about, like that. The
Yeah.
recruit has the
I
factors for a reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he has but he's also not saying fuck stream exposure. I think in these first couple of sentences of each of these, so like stream exposure will be on stream this week for our second time this season, and next season we'll be on stream just much more. Additionally, you shouldn't even focus on stream exposure. So he's basically saying like this is textbook deflection, right? He's like, yeah, we're great at that. We've been on stream twice this season. You will get stream exposure, but we're also super close to home. He
That's
needs,
not how he said it. You
but
know,
I kind of also like the fact that he's uh like on one hand he's saying, yeah, you're getting extreme exposure, but why does that matter when you're close to home and all the people you care about are cheering you on in person?
I
Basically
do
is what
commend
he's
the
saying.
fact that he did try to sell him what he could offer, but I do find it kind of like it does seem a little like, yeah, you shouldn't be focusing on that. The complete
Yeah.
disregard. Like, had he said, hey, we've been on stream a couple times this season, and we intend on being on stream much more. With your help, we could do that. Additionally, we are very close to home, and your
Right.
family will be able to like.
Like if
There's
you're a
ways.
recruit and this coach is like, yeah, I know you want stream exposure, but like you shouldn't care about that. Like that's not gonna really get
Yeah,
players
I
coming
think the
out.
way he goes about it is a bit wrong. I also think that we have to take into account that he is offering 70K more, and he actually made a guarantee no red shirt.
That is true.
I think I think that as far as factors go, I think George Southern, I'd probably give him 1 and 2. I think that coach stability wise, Coastal blows it out of the water. I thought it's
You
super
thought
creative.
okay.
It's a you take a shot in the dark. I kind of consider this kind of similar when Iowa State took the shot at Tennessee earlier in the season.
Southern
And
Miss. Southern Miss.
yeah,
As of
sorry,
right now,
yeah,
are we
Southern Miss.
considering both teams first-year schools? Since
No,
Coco-
because Coco's no.
I consider his full. I consider his full. Yeah,
Wait.
his.
So Coco went to JSAL, then Tech, then back to JSAL in a season.
So
No.
no, so what happened is he joined the server. He wanted Georgia Southern. I believe he got Jeff Driscoll, had him for a year, and then at the beginning of a season, he left for Georgia Tech because he DM'd me or something. He wanted to switch, and so I made the lore about like leaving the shit in the bag on the podium or whatever. But then he, after Georgia Tech went like 1-5, 1-6, and then there's a bunch of stuff about Dame and all that thing. He did leave the server. He did come back this year before the season.
No, he
Has
came back
had
in the middle of last season.
Oh yeah, middle of last season. Um, and he's stayed at Georgia Southern, but he's been talking about in the server, on and off about LSU being where he wants to wind up, potentially after
well,
this season, potentially in the future, which you do have to take into account.
Okay, yeah, he is not getting any stability from me.
Not that it's not any, because like everyone
Because you
talks
do,
about leaving. Everyone talks
well, yeah,
around. But I do agree that Big Tech has more stability.
yeah. Well, I think you could argue a 1-year head coach versus somebody who's been here for 3, despite the rumors and whatnot. If a 3-year, guy who's been here a while, is promising, he's not promising, but I fully believe in this program. Like he's actually basically telling you, hey, I want you to, I'm committed to you. You're committed to me. I want to build us towards national success beyond just the Sun Belt. I think that there's a lot in here that makes a strong case, but the fact that this is one of those things that you have to clarify, like things that happen in the server actually sometimes do matter, like coach prestige, conference prestige, uh, coach stability.
Right.
Those are current success. Those are all things that you have to consider here.
All right. So are all
Yeah.
3 of you on Team Coastal here?
Yeah.
yeah, I go
Yeah,
Coastal.
All right.
I
So
think
I mean,
for
I lean Georgia Southern, but we're just talking in circles. So let's get to the next pitch.
okay.
And
Yeah.
it might not matter. Both these guys might get booed off the podium.
So once again,
Oh,
yeah, okay.
never
So
mind.
these are all never. So it's just
Oh,
1 versus 1
so
here.
it's just these two.
Yeah.
This is being
So
recorded, right?
yeah, this is being recorded. Yes. So
I feel like
I'm
all
I'm
these pitches
hoping
are
the
better, and
thi-
doing this
this.
doesn't really help anything.
I mean, this normally doesn't happen. This is just this week. So yeah, I'm not even gonna really acknowledge it. It's not a big deal. But I think the fact that he offers 70K more, he promises a no red shirt, and he cleverly does get the call out on Georgia Southern. I think that's just puts it slightly over the edge, even though from top down, the whole vibe is a bit better from Georgia Southern, but I just don't think you can reward it when Coastal does go kind of above and beyond as well. Whether
All right.
you agree with how he took it or like how he explained it or not.
For the record, for my opinion, I would lean Georgia Southern, but I seem to be outnumbered, and they do have a good argument. I'm not denying that they have a good
It's a
argument.
very close one. I will agree. This is a very close one.
Yeah, and I mean when there is disagreements like this, it does typically come to a vote, but as long as it's not, this is one of those where it's like, Georgia Southern, he didn't put more money in. He didn't even offer any sort of a promise. So it's
Yeah.
All right. So
All right.
moving on, Donnie Thurman here. Let's read the player card first. He is, I believe, a 3-star defensive tackle from Florida, which is a battleground. 244,000 is the expected NIL deal. His deciding factors are stadium atmosphere, so we're talking about a lot of the same things. Playing time, pipeline familiarity. So what that means is if you had the pipeline or you're laying pipe, you do get a bit of a bonus, but it is mainly just supposed to be for pipelines. But there is ways that you can be creative and get around it. We've seen it a few different times, so we'll see if it comes into play here. Coach Green offers 40K and a football scholarship. That will not be working, my man.
He's already West, so
Yeah, and these aren't real ones. So, okay. Hey, Donnie. Donnie Thurgood. Okay, yeah, he said the right name. Rick over at ASU. I'm offering you a pitch or a scholarship of 294,000, so 50K over, and NIL deals to come join Sun Devils. In addition to our success since I joined, we also play in nationally viewed and sometimes game day games that take place in great stadiums across the Pac-12. Whether you like home turf for big games, traveling to crazy atmospheres like Austin or Rice Eccles, or going to historical venues like Rose Bowl or the LA Coliseum, we are the place to be. In addition to promising you will not be redshirt, I will promise you will be a first-year starter if you decide to come down to Mesa. It's Tempe, not Mesa. Hope to hear from you.
All right, so
Okay,
that just wins, right?
yeah, this wins. I
By
do like
default.
in stadium atmosphere. He talks about where you'll be playing.
Other than just the home stadium, that it's
Right,
cool.
just the home stadium. So I do like that.
Is there a
But
promise
yeah,
in there that I missed, or
Yeah, promise no redshirt and he promised starter. First year starter.
okay?
Okay,
All right,
so
so this one
let
like can't
me.
be debated at all.
No, I mean it's a 40K shit pitch versus
Actual pitch.
yeah. Um, okay, so JSOW, and then you have it was Kentucky, and then this one is Donnie, and it's ASU wins, and then versus Kentucky. Okay, so now we're on to Cam Pringle. I think
So
this
this
will.
is between Llama and TC.
I'm
Me
gonna
and
mute.
Hawk. Yeah, I'm not
Now,
gonna mute.
now when it's not your pitch, if me and Llama are having problems deciding between like ranking two teams that don't involve either of you, you can help us if we're not like if we're in very disagree like different spots.
Right.
So
Okay.
still listen in and make sure we're not missing anything. If you see something that I missed out on, or like I didn't read or something, call it out. Okay, so all right, so first up, Cam, I'm Coach Hawk, the head coach of San Diego State University Aztecs. I've had my eye on you for a while now, and at this point, I feel like it's time to offer you a football scholarship to play football for me here at SDSU. I'm always on the hunt for big bodied guys that can help push the ball, and son, you are the exact person I am looking for. If you signed here, we're going to make sure an NIL deal worth $320,000 finds its way into your hands. If you're looking for an active coach, I can assure you that I'm your guy. Everyone in the SFA knows my name and how I carry myself. I'm here every day. Oh, hold on. I forgot to read the player card. Cam Pringle, offensive lineman, 5-star in Montana. He wants 352,000. So SDSU did offer 320, so 32 under expected. The factors, Llama, are coach activity, earnings potential, and play style. Do you have any questions
Okay.
on those factors?
For
What they mean?
so Pin pitched for this, right?
Yes.
Well,
Alright,
yeah,
so
but we can't come in. We can't factor him in until we read his pitch. But yeah,
okay,
he
like
did
with
pitch.
his activity, does that count as all the mod stuff he does, or just pure like coaching based?
Well, it depends on how
It
I pitch it.
Yeah, exactly. It's completely how he puts it in the pitch because it's the same thing as the last week with FSU. It's like obviously if you go off face value of what coach activity means, if you want to go purely based off of number of messages or time spent, Pinstripe would win. But once again, we have to go completely based on and pretty much solely based on what they submit here. So we just got to compare that when it comes up. So, all right, I'm going to start from the beginning because I forgot to read the player card. I'm Coach Hawk, the head coach of San Diego State University Aztecs. I've had my eye on you for a while now, and at this point, I feel it's time to offer you a scholarship to play football for me here at SDSU. I'm always on the hunt for big body guys that can help push the ball, and son, you're the exact person I'm looking for. That's why if you sign here, we're going to make sure an NIL deal worth $320K finds its way into your hands. So as of right this second, he doesn't say anything about like an NIL deal. We'll see if it comes later. If you're looking for an active coach, I can assure you that I'm your guy. Everyone in the SFA knows my name and how I carry myself. I'm here every day looking for ways to win by bigger and bigger score differentials. I'm here every day talking shit to other coaches. I'm here every day bringing a dose of reality to those in the MWC that dare that they can have a chance against me. I will say, in terms of coach activity, I do want to clarify because Llama, you can't see it actually when you're in the server, but the Mountain West Conference server is pretty decently active, and they do roast each other in there, or talk a little bit of shit here and there.
Word.
I can also assume that that we have ways of finding you some money here at SDSU. I have no shortage of contacts, and I have no issues making sure that the money they like to toss at us gets in your pocket. The Mountain West might not be a strong conference, but we are a very, very strong team, and our donors know it. Okay, so that's an interesting piece. While he's not offering 320K, like he offered under expected, he's basically saying, hey, I'm going to help you out under the table. So that's more of a lower piece and a nice way around it. Now, as for what I'll have you doing, it's going to be run blocking to your heart's content. He is a run blocking offensive lineman. So here at SDSU, we like to run the ball through a motherfucker's face day in and day out. I'll have you tossing motherfuckers all
Here,
four
time out,
quarters
time
of the
out.
game.
Can I
Yeah.
read this to you guys? Because I feel like you need the accent.
Oh,
Sure.
100.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that okay with you, Pinstripe?
I'll allow it.
Thank you. Now, as for what I'll have you doing, it's going to be run blocking to your heart's content. Here at SDSU, we like to run the ball through a motherfucker's face day in and day out. I'll have you tossing motherfuckers all four quarters of every game. There's a reason we have the number 4 rushing offense, number 3 scoring offense, and a number 3 total offense in the nation. I'll tell you now, son, a lot of coaches will bullshit you and tell you they love to run. Very few have the numbers to back it up like I do. TC, carry on.
yeah, so I will say for this is for play style. This prospect has very high strength, very high run blocking. He has a run blocking archetype. And as far as play style, San Diego State has, I think, 4 separate guys over 800 yards. I sent a screenshot to Big Hawk a little while ago, a few weeks ago, because he wanted to see the numbers for his team. Um, so yeah, that is accurate, that he has the numbers to back up these claims. Now, after this week, that changed because he got smoked by Nevada, but I would also like to promise you a starting spot. It's a big task and a big expectation, but I feel comfortable knowing that you'll excel with it. I've worked with offensive line my entire career. I know how to coach you up, and I know how to get you to the NFL. Join the Aztecs and let the death whistle blow as we stomp a mud hole in everyone's ass with our run game and proceed to run it dry. Make the right decision this week, Cam. I know you will. Coach Hawk, SDSU. All right, so obviously it's number 1. I didn't. He did. While he didn't say like a specific creative NIL deal, he does insinuate that his donors will give him something under wraps. That's a lower piece. Obviously, that won't actually happen, but we gotta consider that somewhat. I do like the vibe. It fits the Coach Hawk that we know as far as activity in the server and the way he conducts himself. So it's like a very on-brand pitch, not being something that we haven't seen before. So, okay, so that's number 1 for right now. Coach Green offers 40K in a football scholarship. That just slots in behind this. Number 2, dear Cam, I hope this letter finds you well. I'm Coach Mango, the head coach at TCU, and I'm writing to express to you my interest in you as an offensive lineman. Okay, as many of you already know, next season I'm entering my first full season as the TCU head coach, and I'm striving to be one of the most active coaches in the league. I believe that bringing you onto our team will be a significant step towards achieving that goal. So as far as coach activity goes, this is another one that needs clarification. Coach Mango joined at the beginning of season 9, took over Purdue, never did anything, got booted off of that team because he was inactive, and then he comes back 2 weeks ago and starts being somewhat active and pretty active. But we do need to take that into account. He was inactive for the better part of basically an entire season. At TCU, we believe in offering our players the best possible opportunities both on and off the field. That is why we are offering you a $280,000 NIL deal to come play for us. This deal will not only provide you with financial security, but will also the chance to be a part of something truly special. So $280K, he doesn't make any creative kind of a bid, and that's well below what San Diego State just did and well below his expected. That's $74K, I believe.
Yeah.
Our offense is primed at running back, quarterback, and wide receiver. We believe that all we need is a guy in here to protect the franchise guy. With your skills and experience, we believe that you're the perfect fit for this role. You'll be a day one starter from the time you commit to the time you're drafted. With your skills being drafted should be of no challenge. So as far as play style, this doesn't necessarily make sense. It seems like he's saying he's going to be our franchise guy, that's the quarterback, right? To protect but he's a run blocking guy. So I don't necessarily I feel like there's a disconnect there. I'm confident that TCU has a bright future, and I believe that my coaching will help get the offense into its proper gear. As soon as this offense starts firing, the team may be unstoppable. With your help, I know that we can achieve great things together. I hope that you will consider joining us at TCU, and I look forward to the opportunity to discuss this further with you. Best regards, Coach Mango. What's your viewpoint on this one, Llama? I think it's below SDSU's, and I don't really think it's necessarily close.
Yeah, that's not close at all.
Yeah, I mean the money is lower. It's the big disconnect on the play style, I think. Yeah, and then coach activity is also just lower in my opinion. So yeah, these ones aren't real. Okay, another one down here. Hello there, Mr. Pringle. This is Coach Dave of the Penn State Nittany Lions. I'd like to offer you a full ride scholarship and an NIL deal of $261,400. Okay, so this is the lowest NIL deal that's been offered so far, almost 100K below. Our good friends at Log Cabin Syrup would like to feature you in their new ad campaign because of all the pancakes you'll be serving us up with. We put together a strong recruiting class and have a lot of young talent returning next year. Our offense has the potential, has NFL potential, but where we are lacking is across our line. We've lost some guys to the portal, and this offseason we will lose some more to the NFL graduation. A guy like you could be a real impact player right off the bat. I can't guarantee being a day one starter, but honestly, all 5 starting guy spots will be up for grabs, and I can't see a world where you don't compete for one of those. We currently run a pro-style offense with good running backs and an NFL dual-threat QB in Verlo, and are grooming Terrell Pryor to be your QB at State. In terms of coaching activity, I may not be the loudest of the shit posters or the craziest in the server, but I'm involved in a consistent weekly segment on the Big Ten Network. And the Lions are commonly featured in BearCave. Our earnings offering through NIL may be less than what some of these other schools are offering, but we've already got 2 studs in our recruiting class and see you joining on a big NIL deal, but with players coming in around you to keep you on a future title contending team until you get to the NFL. Okay, so there's a lot of I think this is better than TCU's, but for me, probably still just slightly under SDSU. Do you have a gauge of what you're thinking, Llama? Llama. Are any of you guys there?
I'm here, but
Okay.
I don't feel like I should input my opinion here.
No. I will say it is a lot lower. It's how much lower than yours? You offered 320K, so just under 60K lower. That is a decent chunk of change. I do like how he did make a actual NIL deal. I think that there is a lot of value in that, especially involving pancakes for a run blocker. I think that's very clever. I think it I don't think it may fully make up for it, but I think that was a strong case. Um,
I was peeing, so did I miss
oh,
anything?
Did you
oh
did you
well,
get the last
I'm
pitch, Lama?
yeah. Did you Penn State?
Last thing I heard was SDSU above the other school.
Okay, yeah.
I'll need to
I
reread
wouldn't
it
say
for
make
you.
TC read it all out loud again, but if you could just like read it off the stream real quick.
All right. I'm sorry.
It's
you're good.
okay. Should have just muted yourself while you took a piss. Or matter of fact, just piss and let us hear that shit hit the floor. Put your phone right next to it. Just
That's what I did before.
hell yeah.
I like that pitch a lot so far.
See joining on a big hand in that deal. With players coming in around you to keep you future title contender.
All right, yeah, I read it.
Okay, so just going through one by one. Coaching activity. I
I
think
liked
for
what he said.
me, yeah, like I think that they're pretty even on coach activity, but I do really like the way Penn State kind of went about it, saying, I'm not like the loudest shit posters or the craziest in the server, but I do put out a weekly Big Ten network piece. He also commonly says he's in on BearCave. That doesn't specifically go into coach activity, but it's an additional factor that he's throwing out there. Um, our earnings offering, I is when earnings potential is in the factors. Money typically isn't like the end all be all, but it does matter more. And when I like what he says is he's like acknowledging, hey, we're not giving you the most, but it's because I'm doing work outside of just you keeping this team as a national contender. So I like how he went around it, even though he is significantly lower. I think I mean, he said specifically, I can't guarantee you anything. So he didn't make any sort of a promise.
I
When
like
we're
that he's on about that because JJ made what 55 promises and they were all broken.
well, yeah, but that's different. He like when there are actually promises. I'm trying to find Coach Hawk. Did you give out any promises?
I promised him a starting spot.
Honestly, with how Hawk read his pitch, that could just win it alone because it had me in
That
stitches.
cannot happen.
Yeah. Don't factor in my reading. Don't
Oh, yeah.
factor in my.
I'm just
Yeah, no, I can't factor that in.
that's not a for everybody. Don't.
I think that SDSU would win on play style though over just a pro style. I like the NIL, like the fact that he put in the NIL deal is pretty much what's making this even close for me.
Yeah.
And yeah, you promised him starting spot. Okay, I think with a promise and a lot more money, I everything else being comparable, I think just when earnings potential is a factor, it's something that you just can't ignore. And it has to be like something that's super
What
above and beyond. And
y'all?
with, yeah. What's up?
Kyrie just went to the Mavs.
Nice. Okay, back to recruiting.
Shut the fuck up. No.
Nuggets in 4. All right. So my vote would still be SDSU.
Yes. We're in agreement.
Okay. All right. Who's next? Is this the last one? Yeah. Okay. So this is the last one. This is Pinstripe. Okay. So, hey Cam, it's Pinhead. Let's give it a shot. Off the rip, I'm one of the most active coaches out there. It's not even close. I count BearCave standings, run IRL BC, Tutty Tally. I put out articles and graphics like nobody's business. Everybody knows I'm by far one of the server's most active members. For earnings potential, I can offer you all the change in my pocket, $279,000. You'll get an NIL deal from Ruffles while eating a bag of chips. You'll say a lot of You'll say a lot of people make assumptions about your favorite chip. Then you'll explain why you love Ruffles. It'll play for years, just like the I woke up feeling like the cheesiest Coach Cheez-It commercial. Play style. We here at Buffalo love running the ball. We have an SFA player in our backfield, and he has been looking dangerous this season. Want to be known as one of the best run blockers in the country. If you come here, I'm promising 40 rushing TDs for the Bulls throughout your career. Okay, so that's what? That's 12 a season, 13 a season. Also, just gonna say it. No red shirt. Day one starter. Two-time Team of the Year player. Come to Buffalo, Cam. We got some great stuff cooking up here. Okay, so this one's going to be very close. I mean, as far as coach activity, like you can't not give it to Pinstripe. Yeah, you can't. There is a 31,000 difference in the NIL deals. So 31,000. Everyone's going under expected for this guy. But 31K more for SDSU. He
We're all out
does
of money,
actually, huh?
because we're all out of money.
Yeah. Let me just make sure Buffalo has this money.
I do. I have like
I-
279, 200.
I have
Well-
exactly 320,000.
Yeah,
Damn,
I knew yours.
no money
Yeah,
for any off season.
yeah. So they're both giving themselves basically out dry here for off-season strategies for an offensive
All
lineman.
right.
Okay,
Ooh,
so
yeah.
let's go through factors first. Coach activity, you got to give to Pinstripe. I do like the way Big Hawk did talk about his, but it's one of those where it's just a factor that you're just behind on. Earnings potential, it's number 2. You got to give it to SDSU. He gave 31,000 more. He did also reference that he would probably be getting more from under the table type of things. So that's basically, I'm not going to say that's the NIL deal, but that's like a little bit of lore added in, creativity a little bit. But you still have to give props to the Ruffles NIL deal. He actually makes a tagline, comparing it to real life things. As far as play style, this one is where I probably need to talk it out because he's saying that that he loves running the ball, right? But he has a roster that's like 6 or 7 deep of just lots of receivers, and he does throw the ball. Like he's a lot more balanced, or more balanced than what he's saying. Like if you actually take a look at the numbers, whereas San Diego State does just pound the rock down your throat every single time.
I mean, wait, who's the one that says he wants to run the ball? Hog?
Yeah, well, no, they both. Buffalo says here we love running the ball. We have an SFA player in the backfield. You got to give some props for saying an SFA player, even though San Diego State also has SFA players in the backfield. He didn't say it. He's looking dangerous this season. Want to be known as one of the best run blockers in the country. If you come here, I promise. He does add a promise into the play style, so he's basically telling him, "Hey, I am for sure going to start committing to the run." And then there's also 3 factors here. So Coach Hawk only says, "I'm promising you a starting spot." He doesn't reference anything about redshirting, so you got to give. So I see 4 promises here for Buffalo, as compared to 1. I will say Pinstripe likely will get a lot less promise favoritism in the future, but then again, he just hit one of his promises for Arch Manning to go to the MAC title, or 2, because of the bowl game as well.
Yeah.
Come to Buffalo, Cam. We got some great stuff cooking up here. This one. So if I look at it, just because I know both of you guys are in here listening, and coach activity goes to Pinhead. Earnings potential goes to SDSU. The creativity of the NIL deal does factor in slightly, but with earnings potential being so high, like it's number 2 factor at 31K, I still gave number 2 to SDSU. For me, play style, I got to give SDSU. I don't think anyone's beating that play style in that kind of a pitch. It's a guy with max strength, max run blocking. You're gonna run it down their throat, like he said. Like, I think he just made a great pitch there. But then you come to the point where you have to consider that there's 4 pretty big ass promises here. You got 40 rushing touchdowns, no red shirt, day 1 starter, and a 2-time team of the year player. So that's
You
basically saying
definitely hit
he's
2 of those.
it may or may not be likely, but you still have to say, wow, okay, you're promising me I'm going to be at least 2 of the next 3 years if he plays short, right? If he really is that good. He's going to be one of the top 5 SFA linemen in the country. That's a pretty big promise. And
Especially
also,
coach.
yeah. So do you have a way of what you're leaning?
Means I want to go with SDSU, but all 3 of them are really good.
Can I just say to this point, I've broken 0 promises.
Yeah. No, like if you don't put in promises here, you don't win this pitch just because of the play style and the earnings. The thing here is the pitches. Is there's 4 of them, 40 rushing TDs. That's not necessarily all that crazy because there's always rushing TDs from quarterbacks, like 40 over 4 years. That's 10 scores. So you're basically telling them, like,
wait,
hey, like, I don't like, okay, while it is a promise and it needs to be taken into effect, 40 rushing touchdowns just simply isn't that much of across a 4-year career.
I just don't get
That's
rushing.
averaging less than 1 per game. But
Yeah,
the
big
fact
brain.
that they both say the whole thing that's making me question this, like, I want to say SDSU, but the 2-time team of the year promise is
A little bit big for me.
I feel like promising a starting spot is kind of also saying no red shirt.
yeah,
Well,
it is,
But it's
but
not.
it's
like,
No,
all,
but it's not because
Yeah, if you
Rick
you
lost
know,
TD Holmes because of that, so you can't say that.
I can't say that. I mean, if that's the
you
God,
can
this turn.
it can be argued, but in the course of how we judge these, you can't assume it because while you promise him hit day 1, if he doesn't perform well, or like I'm going to use Neil as an example, like Rod Hopgood and Derek Watt, he promised starting spots for, um, or not Rod Hopgood, that was on a previous thing, but like they're number 1 in the depth charts for 3 or 4 years, and then they get a red shirt their senior year, right? So like a lot of people take different paths when they're doing with the coaching. Actually putting it out there has to be counted whether it's agreed upon or not. So yeah. Feel comfortable knowing you'll sell this. I worked with my offensive line my entire career. I know how to coach you up, and I know how to get you into the NFL. During the Aztecs, let the death whistle blow, just stomp your muddle. Everyone's ass, make the right decision. Yeah, I'm in the boat where I like SDSU's pitch like more, like it's just a lot more enjoyable to read, and I like it a lot more, but I can't give it to him
Yeah.
because of when you take all of the fully encompassing thing into consideration. Do you agree, Llama?
Yeah, I feel like Pinn's got it for me. Just like if we went off like pitch delivery, SDSU would blow him out.
Yeah,
But
I
I
mean,
gotta get Pinn.
yeah, this is one of those where it's like, fuck you, Pinstripe, for
For what?
putting in a pitch like this.
Why?
It's like
Yeah,
it's like
I do want to
it's
say fuck
it's
you and
like
your
the Arch
promises.
yeah, it's like the Arch Manning pitch where it's like Buffalo, you shouldn't win this one. Like one of these times, Pin, I'm just telling you right now, one of these times you're gonna fail massively on one of these recruits' pitches, and then I'm never gonna let take 4 promises and make them the
Okay,
same amount. But
Oh, I'm
that's
gonna
never
point and
happened.
laugh the minute one of these fails.
But
Wait, hold on.
as
What were
of
you saying? Finn? What were you saying?
as of right now,
I've
as of
succeeded
right
in
this
every
second,
promise I've ever given.
exactly.
I haven't had
As
the
of
chance.
right now, you have
As you
to.
should.
Right, as of right now, you have to give Pinstripe it because he has not missed a promise yet. He's literally this week just hit 2 massive promises that everyone laughed in his face on about Arch Manning making a bowl
were
game
those?
and making the MAC title.
What was the promises everybody laughed on?
That I would I gave Arch 4 promises. It was day 1 starter, win a MAC, win a bowl, and first or second round draft pick.
Oh, damn! So you've hit 3.
Well, I technically need to win the MAC in the bowl for it to count, but yes.
Yeah. All right. So that wraps up the recruiting. I gotta look to see if the video even worked, but
All
this
right.
will go
Is
up.
anybody gonna go in chat and make a ruckus
Yeah,
about a
I'm gonna
recruit?
go in chat and just call out Pinhead and just start cursing him out.
Yeah, go for it. We have the battle now.